Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name's Norf, I am from London. Remember when your parents used to write your name in the back of your t-shirt when you were little going to school? I'm not quite sure mine got the memo. Anyway, I have a question for you. Who inspires you? So where does inspiration come from? I really have no idea, but there are some people in this world that have lit a fire under me. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I'm just going to give you 7 of the books that I've looked at that really do inspire me. Now, before I launch into any of these, I will tell you here and now that I am not affiliated to any of these gentlemen at all, although I wish I was, but I'm not affiliated to any of these gentlemen at all. These are just genuinely books that I have found really inspirational, motivational, and interesting, and have helped me shift my mindset from, I suppose, a fixed mindset now into a growth mindset. So I thought I'd break this down into 2 sections. This week we'll look at the books that inspire me, and then next week we'll look at some of the YouTubers that inspire me. So the first out of the 7 books is a book by Les Brown, Live Your Dreams. I read this a couple of years ago on holiday and I found it absolutely superb. It's quite an old book, but the story that Les tells is absolutely fascinating. It really is. And just to hear this man's journey to go from where he was to where he is now was absolutely superb. So for me, this is a book that I definitely recommend. The next book that I want to talk to you about is this one that really did inspire me, by Colonel Chris Hadfield. This book is called An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. And I was really excited to get the opportunity to go and see Chris Hadfield speak at an event in Toronto in Canada a few years back. And this book is actually signed by Chris Hadfield. So I'm really dead chuffed to have this particular book. And again, I spent time reading this book and it was super inspirational, cracking read. I'm not going to give you any spoilers from it, but my key takeaway was, if you've got a project, think about why it won't work. If you can solve for why it won't work, by definition, your project will work. Right? Think that through. It's great. If you run a project, think about why it won't work. If you can solve for why it won't work, by definition, it will work. A cracking book by Colonel Chris Hadfield. Another great inspirational book is this one, Simon Sinek's Find Your Why. I would highly recommend picking up Starts With Why or Find Your Why. Now, I picked this up for the team that I was part of, and really, it's completely changed the way I approach any project. If you can understand why, then the rest, by definition, will flow. A cracking book, Simon Sinek's Find Your Why, or even Simon Sinek's Start With Why. So the 4th book that inspired me and motivated me was Seth Godin's Tribes. It was a fascinating book. I listened to it on audiobook, and it was read by the man himself, by Seth Godin, and it was an absolutely fascinating read. So that is a great book that has inspired me. Go check it out. Another fantastic book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R Covey. I don't want to give away too much in the book, but the last section, section 7, is all about sharpening the saw, about learning, about enhancing your skills. A book that I've listened to twice now on audiobook. So those are the 5 kind of major books. Now, when you get to the end of the day, you want to unplug and unwind. So for me, a great book to unwind with was this. I love how this guy writes, Robert Ludlum. He is a superb writer, I find. And just to unplug, decompress and unwind, I have been listening to, as well as reading, a lot of his books. Of course, his famous trilogy is the Bourne series. Absolutely cracking book. I thoroughly enjoy reading his books. And then the last book, of course, you've got to have a little bit of humor. And for me, as I was growing up, I discovered this guy, Bill Waterson, and the indispensable Calvin and Hobbes. To be able to see the world through the eyes of a 6-year-old with his pet stuffed tiger as well is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. This series by Bill Waterson has had me and my family in absolute hysterics. Fantastic books. So those have been the 7 books that have inspired me. Les Brown's Live Your Dreams, Colonel Chris Hadfield's An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, Simon Sinek's Find Your Why, or even his book Start With Why, Stephen R Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, any of Robert Ludlum's books, of course, he is the writer of the Bourne trilogy, and of course Bill Waterson's Calvin and Hobbes. The one that I talked about was the indispensable Calvin and Hobbes. And that's it for this week. Please let me know what books have inspired you. Leave those in the comments section below. Also, if you have questions or additional comments, leave those in the comments section below. Consider subscribing if you like what you see as well so far. Consider hitting the like button too, as well as hitting the bell notification so you are notified of the latest info that gets dropped on this channel. Thank you again for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.